So, welcome to Business First TV. My name is Tino. On today's show, we have Martin Braddy. What do you do when it comes to supplying your power? Who supplies your power, especially if you're in business? Martin's going to tell us all about it today. Stay with us. Martin, welcome to the show. Tell me more about MLB Associates.
I started that some years ago when I first got involved in network marketing.
Yes.
Which was a sideline to my main business.
Okay.
I spent 42 years in the motor trade, which I think is long enough for anybody, 42 years.
That's a long time. Yeah.
So within the motor trade, you get some peaks and troughs, and I got involved in network marketing to help iron those out. When I finished with the motor trade, I then got involved with a commercial power broker who helps businesses procure the most competitive contracts for the supply of their gas and electricity, and more latterly water as well, because since that's been deregulated, we can now quote for water.
Now, this is specifically for businesses, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm guessing that it must be expensive. If you've got a high street business, power is if you've got lights on all the time, you've got heating on all the time, you've got So do you? Is it a special rate that they get? I mean, I've never had a high street shop, so I don't know what happens.
What happens is everybody has to have a contract.
Okay.
If you don't have a contract for the supply of all of those individual services, then you end up paying out of contract rates, which is very expensive.
Okay.
So you need to be in a contract. It's a question of whether you've got the right contract for your type of business, your type of consumption.
Okay.
So Power Utilities, the company, the brokerage that I work with, they are expert in finding the right contracts. Okay. I don't do any of the clever stuff.
Okay.
I introduce leads to them.
Yes.
And they check out the market, find out what's the best rate and the best deal for that particular company and offer it up to them.
Okay.
But it's up to the business to decide whether they want to go ahead with that.
And this is because the utility companies treat businesses different to what they treat domestic companies, domestics with.
There's different laws apply.
Okay.
With domestic stuff, then there's always a 14-day cooling off period.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen in business. If you're in
wow,
business,
okay. It's
you make a decision.
Now. Okay, yeah. You said yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and you've signed and it's down to you to have read a contract.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Correctly. But you need to know that the broker you're dealing with is being fair with you and showing you all the options.
Now, we talked briefly off camera about some of these companies who, when your contract finishes, carry on charge you a higher rate. And you said it was out of contract, what is that we called it?
Yep. If the customer hasn't adhered to the terms of the contract, i.e. given 30 days notice, it's usually 30 days notice, then the company can roll them into a new contract and charge them what's called out of contract rates. That when they get their first bill and they realise suddenly the price has gone up, it's up to them to then get in touch with the company and say, look, how come my price has gone up? And then that's when they pitch you with a new contract, and you might be able to get that difference credited back, but not always.
Wow. Okay.
Not always.
Okay. So you could be out of pocket then.
Absolutely. I had one customer who, quite a large consumer, he was out of contract for a few months.
Yes.
Something had gone wrong that they hadn't realised.
Yes.
And the supplying company just kept charging him the higher rate. When we got to have a look at his contract, etc., realised what had been going on, we immediately gave notice to the supplying company, which is what you have to do. So at least it was only going to happen for another 30 days.
Okay.
And then we found him a better contract. The original supplier offered to give him a rebate back to the new contract rates, but we found such a good contract that he was better not receiving that and going on a fresh contract with us.
And how long are these contracts?
It can be anything 1 year, 2, 3, 5 years.
Because 5 years is a long time to be paying a lot of money for.
It is a long time, yeah. I think generally speaking, most people tend to go for 2 or 3 year contracts.
And do people actually read these contracts, or they just sign them?
Well, this is where some of the problems come, because a lot of them are done over the phone.
Okay.
So again, I've had lots of people who've been in contracts longer than they thought.
Okay.
They thought they were having a 1 year contract.
Yes.
In actual fact, it was a 2 year contract.
Yeah.
And it happens so often. And that's because the market is not regulated for commercial consumption like it is for residential consumption.
Wow. Okay. So definitely need there then for someone to do something about it.
Absolutely.
So tell me about full power then. How does full power work? So you introduce someone, and then what happens?
We get a letter of authority from the prospective customer, which enables full power to go and get quotes on their behalf.
Okay.
We submit the latest copies of their bills, so you can see their historical consumption, which will give you an indication of what they're likely to be consuming next year.
Yeah.
The current supplier may have already issued a renewal notice and quoted what it's going to be for the next contract period. They may not have done, but it enables full power then to go out to the whole of market.
Okay, and just explain what whole of market means, because people may not know that.
A lot of brokers are only dealing with 2-3 handful of power suppliers.
Yes.
Full power are actually dealing with all, I think it's 41 suppliers at the
moment.
Wow,
yeah, that's a lot of suppliers, yeah.
It is, yeah. So they've got arrangements with all of them.
Yeah.
And that's what's called whole of market.
Okay.
So they don't necessarily go out to all 41 suppliers because they'll know from
which
the consumption of a particular business what was likely to suit them and who's the most competitive at the time.
Okay.
Because all the power companies go up and down as well, you know.
Why is that?
Well, when they've got a lot of their power taken up,
yes,
and basically if they don't need a lot more customers, they keep the prices up high.
Okay.
But once they start losing customers, they bring the prices down. And that's why
demand.
You get this constant up and downing.
Now, we talked off camera a while ago about securing a price. So if you've got to wait 12 months to get out of a contract, the price you sign for today is what you get. Yeah.
Full Power Utilities are what's called a premier broker, premier status broker.
Yes.
That means that they are able to forward buy their power or deal with the companies that forward buy. So, for example, when you've got the market going up in price, which has been the case for the last 2 or 3 years, it's a good idea to buy your contract as soon as you can, because they can confirm the price today and hold that price until the new contract starts, which could be in 12 months' time.
That's pretty good going. Yeah, that's really good.
It's a good advantage.
And let me just go back to the question I asked before, though. So once you've submitted this paperwork, what else do they have? Do I have to do anything else?
The customer?
The customer?
No, nothing at all. Full Power do it all. Whereas you have to give in your notice period before the end of a contract, it's advisable that you do that, even if you intend staying with the new company, because you don't know what's out there.
Yeah.
Full Power will, on the authorisation of the letter of authority, can actually give that termination notice on your behalf. So you'd never accidentally be out of contract.
There's no worries about people coming up and digging up the garden or digging up the road or anything.
Oh no,
if you don't do any of that.
No, gas still comes down the same pipes. The electricity comes down the same cables.
Okay.
It's just that it's administered by different people at different points.
Okay. All right. So can I just talk about your business now? Because Business First TV is all about business and so on. So how long have you been in business? How the MLB Associates have been in business?
Since 2003.
Wow, okay, so no spring chicken, and you've been around a little while.
A little while, yes.
Yeah, okay, wow.
I'm not a youngster anymore.
No.
No, I started that, as I said, when we first got involved in network marketing. So it sort of sat on the side of my car business.
Yeah.
So once I closed up the car business, I then sort of pulled it to the fore and went away with it.
And do you find that your business has done this as well, or do you find that you've been in steady growth?
No, you do get ups and downs. And with this, because we're dealing in time in advance with the contracts, I obviously don't get paid until Full Power get paid. And, and nobody does that until they pay their bills. So we might sign a contract, but if it doesn't start for 12 months, obviously,
you don't get it for 4 months.
Don't get any money for that sort of time. So yes, you do get some peaks and troughs, but it gradually builds up. You're building money in the bank for later. Yeah. So as you get a little bit more established, then it becomes smoother. What
type of marketing do you do for your business?
A lot of it is through people that I've known through my previous businesses. I do some networking events. I was membership secretary for the Steyningen District Business Chamber for 5 years.
Okay.
So I met quite a few people through there. But I've also joined For Networking, and that works very nicely because the good thing about that is that you have 3 one-to-ones during that meeting.
Yes.
So you're actually face-to-face with somebody.
Yes.
5 minutes talking about your business, 5 minutes talking about their business.
Yeah.
And I find that's really helpful. And people choose if they want to talk to you.
And the people who are watching who have never been networking, does networking work?
It does, especially if you are a smaller business.
Okay.
You can't just be stuck in your own little office, might be a room in your house or maybe a small serviced office. If you don't get out and meet people, you can't expect it all to come to you.
No, that's right, that's right. And networking works on different levels, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Sometimes it's not just about making the sale, it's about meeting people,
Yeah.
getting out, and you never know who knows who.
Absolutely. Things can lead on that you just don't expect.
Okay. People who are watching today who are a business, high street or work from their shed or whatever, how will they know whether they're paying the right amount of money for their electricity or not, or their utilities or not?
They need to talk to a broker or an introducer, as I am, and get it benchmarked. Full Power Utilities will benchmark your bills for no charge, even if they don't sign a contract with you afterwards. If you decide, no, that's fine, that's okay, because we're confident that we can beat most. When you deal with the whole of market,
a lot of companies,
you've got everywhere to go. So you should be able to beat any contract.
How do people contact you?
Either through my website, mlbassociates.co.uk.
We'll put it down here. Yep.
Or my email is martin@mlbassociates.co.uk.
We'll put your number as well.
And my phone number 07802 530 401.
Fantastic. Well, Martin, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you, Tino. Thank you for inviting me.
You're very, very welcome. Guys, if you're a high street business or a business that uses utilities, then please do contact Martin if you can. Details just down here. Thank you all for watching.